Oh, here we are.
Hello.
Greetings and good morning from Australia.
Awesome.
How you go? How's it?
You're muted.
Oh, am I? Yeah.
No, you're not. You're good.
I'm the one that's muted.
That's right.
Welcome, everyone, to Andromeda 7 Celestial Gateway. It's good to see you all this evening. And although I can't respond in chat, I can see you all, and it's good to see you. And Lori will give the hellos in a few seconds. But tonight, just wanted you to know, this is Marc Bright from Australia. He's a joyologist, he calls himself.
Yeah.
And he's going to talk to us a little bit about conscious cartooning. And I'll let Lori go ahead and give the greetings to everyone in chat. And then we'll tell you a little bit about Marc, and then we'll turn it over to him. So go ahead, Lori.
Yeah, sounds good. Hey, we've got Al's, Big Al's in the house. Good to see you. Isby963, good to see you. Grandpa Brian 420, much love. Nina the Mystic, thanks for stopping by. It's great to see you as always. Let's see who else we've got. Truth Seeker, always good to see Truth Seeker. Cheryl Richard, good to see you in chat. Thanks for being here. Gaza Cab, good to see you. Brother, sending you so much love and energy. I hope you felt the angelic realm yesterday when we sent you a lot of healing. Very, very important.
Yeah.
Looks like that's all we have right now. So
well, they'll start trickling in.
They'll trickle in. Yep.
And Trina's back for tonight. Thank you so much for coming, Trina. We're very fortunate to have her. Your schedule.
Oh, it was great. I was moving. Yeah, I was like, come on, I got to be able to get on there tonight. I was like, come on.
Didn't you send me a message that says you're hauling to get here?
Oh, yeah. Literally.
I was like, oh, my God. Well, before we jump into it, I just wanted to let you all know Crystal's taking a little bit of time off from the program for a little while because she's got all this stuff going on. Most of you know what's going on with her. And we love her dearly. And she may or may not jump in to the chat. But she'll be back around when things get straightened out on her end of things. So just send her lots of love, okay? And all of our friends in Australia, from Melinda Biddle and just all of you out there in Australia, our heart is with you. And we're glad to have our Australian friends on the show with us tonight as well. Brenda has season tickets to her nephew's football games. So that's why she's been holding off on Fridays. And we love her dearly. And so I took it upon myself to lift one of her favorite poets, because she's always here with us in spirit. Thank you, sister, because she will be watching later. This is a poem from Margaret B. Moss. I believe in the power of kindness, patience, and listening to others, that no problem is so big that it should cause people to hurt each other. I believe in the beauty of faded flowers, beads of rain on morning grass, and the light in the face of old people. I believe in the power of imagination, hope, and hard work to create miracles. And I believe that love is everything. Margaret B. Moss. So, Brenda, wherever you are, we love you, sister.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Okay, so let's give Marc a little background here. Marc is going to talk to us tonight about what conscientious cartooning really is, what he means by consciousness, and how it can help us with our business and organization services, educational programs, and so forth. He's a professional golfer and joyologist participating in the entertainment business. He established the All Abilities Golf Wellness and Protection Program in 2011.
Yeah.
Currently runs Conscious Cartooning with his Master Cartoonist friend Jeff Douwes. Their current client base includes places like World Vision, Global Village, Nature Conservancy, the Noosa Council, and the Noosa Community Biosphere Association.
That's right.
Yeah. So all of his contact information is in the link in the program description.
That's right.
And you can look him up on Facebook just simply by typing in Conscious Cartooning.
Thank you, Teresa. That was a good long one, a long intro. What fun.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
What fun.
So what Lori and I did is we surfed through your stuff, man. I went through all your goodies out there in the world, and we put all together something that we think you're going to be pleased with. It represents, probably only touches on the surface, Marc, but it does try to cover the breadth and depth of what you're all about.
Good on you.
And it's our gift to you for
Yes.
coming on to the show.
Ah, very lovely.
As I promised, we will make it available to you for you to use
Wonderful.
however you want, whether it's on Facebook or somewhere else. Lori did
That's
a wonderful job of blending it all together.
Good on you, Laurie. I can identify. You've got one of our favourite things, the heart, the big
Yeah.
rainbow heart. Oh,
Yeah.
you can see that, yeah.
I got your
Lovely,
cartoon behind, one of your murals behind me.
Mhm.
So
Nice, yay.
This
yeah.
will really give the audience a feel for who you are and what you stand for and what you're doing.
Thank you,
so
Laurie. That's gorgeous. Yeah.
All right. Are we ready, Teresa?
yeah, go ahead and play it, and then
All right.
then we'll
This
let
is-
Mark jump in.
Okay, sounds good. This is about 14 minutes, so this kind of showcases you very well, Mark. Okay. Okay, here we go, folks. Enjoy.
Put yourself on mute.
It's wonderful.
Okay.
It's Marc the Joyologist at Mary Poppins Festival in beautiful Maryborough. It's brought by the It's Live in Queensland group and Fraser Coast Council. Gorgeous spot to do it, right here on the promenade at the river near the Mary River. At the end of Maryborough Zone at the Queen's Park is the Mary River, and here is where our mural is. our conscious cartooning mural for the community. This community mural's got all the stories about the beautiful Mary Poppins themes, and here's one. Every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake. Good stories, and the kids and the grown-ups will be colouring this in later, and we'll be on stage with some of our work in about 2 hours up the main street at Maryborough. Happy days. And Alison, you grew up in Maryborough, yes, and you've come back to do the mural like the little girls you once were. That's what, and your sisters, and you're doing a beautiful job. Look, what did you do there? The heart.
Oh, bumblebee.
The bumblebee.
Yeah, I'm going to do the wings, yeah.
Nice. Happy days. Oh, here we are out at the Spirited by Nature Biosphere and Districts Info Enviro mural, and there's Raina. Hey Raina, and
Right.
what did you do when you got on our mural? Where's your bit you did?
My bit is just
Is it
here.
there?
Both whales and dolphins lead a healthy ocean with aquatic botany, and both need to come to the surface to breathe clean air.
A lovely statement. That's beautiful to know they need good water, hey? And I see you also did some other water things, drawing that lady who catch things. This one, that lady who caught this here. Oh, that's your one with the net.
Yeah.
And she caught, some rubbish fell down the river and she caught it for us.
To save these fish. I think that one might be like a big shark, which looks weird, and that one a
Yeah,
fish.
so those fish don't have to eat that plastic.
Yeah.
Good thing.
turned on the TV and here was Peter Beattie, Premier Peter Beattie, flying in a helicopter and saying, announcing that this was the proposed site for Traveston Crossing Dam, and it was over my property. It was a shock.
When Peter Beattie flew in on his helicopter, and he took the mayor with him on his helicopter, they flew over Gympie, and it was all unannounced at first. They made the announcement later, and it took everyone by surprise, this whole question of putting a dam in the Mary Valley. And it was kind of a little bit a dodgy way to do things in those days.
Committee and a group and fight this thing.
Well, we just made sure we got all our facts right with the technical advisors and the technical people that worked on producing all the things we needed to know.
To share the facts and the data that we saw as critical to prove that this was a flawed proposal.
We were some of the early environmentalists.
Severe troubles, and you only actually have to cause a major catastrophic environmental event once, and then that population might not come back with some of these species that we're looking at. So we're looking at causing major tragedies.
One of the interesting things I think about this was the number of, when there'd be a very public protest, was the number of people who, particularly elderly and particularly ladies, who said this is the first time they've ever protested against anything. And I think it's a measure of the character of people that they will actually, I don't know, put their feet where their heart is, I guess, and actually stand up for something like this. It was wonderful to see.
When Garrett got up to speak, deadly, absolutely deadly hush. Then he said, and the party started. I went straight out. I mean, there were grown men, big farmers, crying and kissing each other. They don't kiss each other around Kendanga.
It's because people are human and they make mistakes, and especially the people in power. They seem to make a lot of mistakes.
The experience of going through the 3.5 years fighting the dam proposal, you know, and how it affected people emotionally, and the unhappiness and the sadness, to have the announcement of no dam and to have people, so many smiles on people's faces, it really brings home that a happy, healthy community is something that you want to be part of, you want to have. Those things that are important value-wise, and it doesn't have to be a lot of money, but value-wise of your surroundings and the people that you interact with. You know, really vibrant, creative people that have a vision of where they're going to, and they want to be on the journey.
Yes, I can come back with my kids and say I planted those trees along there and help save Mary.
Seeing as a healing energy.
There were hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people involved with this campaign to save Mary. And I believe it was the collective energy of everyone combined. Every little thing, from all the really big things to every little thing that went out right around this country and around the world. And that all combined. It's like that collective unconscious, and we shifted something and we changed. And now we've got to hang in there so that the environmental value of the Mary Valley continues to be appreciated forever.
And you try and put the brown bits.
Oh.
That was
Thank
awesome.
you.
Well done.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
That was such a
Wonderful.
heartwarmer. So thank you. Gratitude for picking up on a fair bit of where I've been. You could have nutshelled it there in a little, nutshell.
Well, I just try to get a hold of what you meant by consciousness, and I got a real education because it totally flips my perception on what we really mean when we're talking about consciousness, and how to raise it and raise those frequencies to get those messages out.
Yeah, that's really, really important. And connecting with nature and community. It's not rocket science. It's quite simple.
Mm-hmm. That's what Spirit tells me all the time. It's very simple.
Yeah.
How did you get into this?
I was just going to ask.
Because you started, you're a pro golfer,
Yeah. Well, I was touring with the best players in the world. You might remember Greg Norman, and you've heard of his name.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, the Shark. Yeah, I was playing with him. He won his first ever tournament. So, yeah, golf was a passion. I won amateur in the state amateur. And so, I took it, let's be a pro. Okay, do that. So, toured the country of Australia and New Zealand and Japan. So, got to see a lot of land and people. But then, okay, I came back and it didn't actually fully turn into the fame and fortune thing. I said, there's other things for me to do. So I kind of orientated to, the best that I had experienced and kind of nutshelled it into kind of look after the land, get involved with helping disability kids or people to connect with their golf course and their social connection with the members who maybe hadn't seen their golf course through the eyes of people who are just simply enjoying the walk, in beautiful creekside places and shade and creatures turn up and that sort of thing. So I was keen to make appreciation and cut out some of the ideas, if I could influence, with using chemicals and stuff on the golf course too much that affected the waterways. So we kind of worked with the first ever lady greenkeeper in Australia to basically totally reduce the chemical footprint on a golf course. See, the ladies I found had a great interest in that, and this one was a particularly forward thinker, and we managed to sort of basically change the vibe on this golf course up here at Karoi, which is in near Noosa. You've got Noosa. You've heard of Noosa at all? Noosa in Australia. It's a southeast Queensland. It's a famous kind of holiday destination, and there's a kind of just back off beautiful beaches. It's a great spot.
I saw a travel brochure on it once. Yeah,
it's just a lovely spot. But in the hinterland, a little bit back, maybe 20 clicks back, is this little old golf course, a classic one, and there's things like nesting spots into the bank of this blue azure kingfisher that people didn't realize were there. So we found kind of lost species and stuff like that. So it makes all the community that we were part of, the kids from the disabilities plus the members, kind of appreciate beautiful nature doing its survival and living here with Earth. So they kind of tuned into their softness and sensitivities, and there was this exchange that was of a real higher quality consciousness going on, and we've developed that since maybe 9 years ago since we started. So, you know.
Wow, 9 years. Huh.
Wow.
Oh, and I might mention we put our first ever Aboriginal cultural, they call it a yarning circle, not like knitting yarn, but talking in Australia is a kind of yarn thing. Let's have a yarn.
Yeah.
And that's an old kind of a statement, but Aboriginal people sit in circle and just share.
Their
and
stories. Yeah.
the stories.
The dream stories and
nice
history.
Yeah, and I just mentioned that along all that years that I've just sort of mentioned on, you know, leaving the circuit and suddenly doing all this, about 25 years, I walked with Aboriginal elder man who's just an absolute, the very top of the tree in floristry, Australian florist. He's the best one, right? And floristry is really kind of central to kind of a lot of their getting of the essences out of the trees and connecting with the seasons, and it's a kind of a central theme for the women and the men, and he's an expert at it. So I was his computer. He called me his computer because I could do emails. See, you know, he thought I was his computer. So I learned a lot from that, and then we did major revegetation programs where we returned large plots of just flattened land into, with 16,000 plants we put into what they call the old Gondwana land, which is original ancient land. You know, we got the species that were here before. And
wow, amazing work. Amazing.
That was pretty special. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, how did you know Jeff a long time, or how did you meet him?
Yeah,
the newspaper, right?
That's right. The local Gympie Times, now owned by Murdoch, Rupert Murdoch, owned Sky News. He owned this thing, and Jeff was working for. He was there for 20 odd years, and he was a political and a kind of environmental commentator. And some of his work. Oh, look! I just happen to have a couple of pieces just here, useful to see. I wonder if you can see these things. I'll put them up just for the sake of it. I just like. This thing here is about the duck ponds. This is a place where people stop, and all the time they were feeding these ducks white bread, and they didn't fare too good with, these were native ducks, didn't fare too well with white bread. So we kind of a little bit of message that, if that makes sense there. Yeah. And those sorts of comments that he
sumo
made.
wrestler.
yeah, kind of, yeah. Just fun, and it got through to a lot of people, and it changed the way that the councils and the local environment government people dealt with the signage and to visitors, and they eventually had seed for them to use that was their kind of thing, and not white bread all the time, if you get what I mean. So little things make a difference, you know, little things like that. So he commentated for 25 years, and it was a perfect record of what's that, 900, nearly 1,000 cartoons. That's one a week for 20 odd years, something like that. And he never had any like backlash or problem. He was very politically correct and still had fun. So there's an art with that, and I can identify with that. And that's where some of our magic comes from. We kind of listen to our clients and hear what they have. The minefields there, don't go there, it'll blow up, and you just sort of steer your way through and still have fun and connect with the people and make the message.
See, that's just it. It's the connection that you have with the people.
Yep.
You've made a conscious decision to take your talents and your gifts, put them back into society in such a way that you get these messages across in a meaningful way, but making it joyful, without concentrating on all the negatives. What's wrong with all this, but what can we do to change this? It's all about change and making change, right?
It's very interesting because in layered consideration in think tank places, because we have think tanks, speaking of which, I kind of had a playful one done here with a think tank, and how you actually put in all the clients' ethical statements, their brand and all their glossy brochures, and then you think, well, go through all that, you suck it up completely and honor it, and then you kind of say, well, okay, we'll include layer of that and a layer of this. It's like a mixing up a drink, and then you kind of, well, can we do that? No. And sometimes we sort of hit a lower common denominator, and then we don't want to do black humour, so we sort of adjust our blackness, if you like, because it kind of, some people relate there. We sort of lift it up a notch or two. See, it's a conscious effort to do that. And then as a whole picture over, say, 3 or 4 weeks worth of doing that, you pick the gems, the gold bits.
Yeah.
and like, for instance, I've got one here where we did a men's, it's a corporate group, and what they did, they wanted their men to feel a little bit more sensitive in their daily exchange with their clients. Some of them a bit gruff and
Yeah.
Men thing.
Yeah,
I understand all that, but you know what I mean. Anyway, we got a little picture up. Can I show? This is a journey through the heart. Oh, that might show.
Wow.
Journey
I
through
see
the
it.
heart.
Yeah.
And then they get it off their chest. Something like that. A safe place to do it. So just making it a bit more open. Like management work is, people management, and feeling that they can talk to your manager or your business head and kind of work it through, not sort of like you're fired or anything, you kind of ease the edges and say, well, accept all, love all, but power of kindness, we're discussing that earlier.
Visual impact that
yeah,
to change your perspective about things, change your mind about things.
And it's done in a fun way, with the cartoons. You're not really taking it too seriously, but you're getting the message in such a way that is light and kind of airy. That's
it's true. With all our understandings of metaphysical and symbols, are very powerful, simple symbols, and kind of color and sound and light. That's what I understand us to be, sound and light, and that they make form. And so kind of like, here's one about Thelma Thankfulness. I mean, there's a lot of little simple things on this one. Thelma Thankfulness, there she is. She's
love that. I love that.
She's got water, she's got a bubba, she's got a bit of
Hugging
food.
her teddy bear.
Nature, the sun.
That is awesome.
They are so simple. I know they're really simple, but surrounding her world is that simplicity and great gratitude for that. So we play with that and like, well, just for instance, we had one with this group that came to us about the waterways. This is really strong in the world. Care for water. It's a timely thing because water is our kind of mother Gaia Earth blue planet. We're a blue planet. And I also always mention this whenever I'm going to schools or anybody on what's this blue planet thing? Why? It's water. Has that got anything to do with my human beingness? Yeah, I need water. Kind of might need earth. Oh, yes. There's a connection.
You are living on a blue planet.
I know when working with children and doing educational or science projects with kids or even arts and crafts, they don't remember a lot of words, but they remember symbols and signs and stories. And so
this is true.
What you're doing is a whole different level of communication for these kids.
Well, it's very interesting you should say that because one of those photos you might have in your lovely presentation, thank you very much again, was of a Cherokee Native American. He's nearly elder, he's about 40. He's come over here from his discourse from his grandmothers from the Cherokee Nation to actually find a place that is a community that would be kind of open to understanding what he knows and kind of linking with people and taking his information to the United Nations that he has a big talk with, plan to do. So he swung through here and we met with him and he asked us to do a whiteboard presentation that would serve his presentation at the UN. which was really exciting for us.
Wow.
And why I'm speaking, I just mentioned this.
Are you talking about Tao? Because he went through your mentoring program?
No, Tao is a younger fellow, a lovely guy, local lovely guy. But this one is, his name is Pedro Simpson. He's of the Wolf clan within the Cherokee Nation. There's 7 clans.
Cool. Wow.
I have a strong, there's a lot more background to hear about spiritual business in this district that's kind of probably worthwhile us maybe chatting about another time. But suffice to say, he just zeroed in on me and we hit it off. And he said, okay, do you know what the nature, what my talk is? And I said, fill me in. It's called The Nature of Knowledge. I've gone, whoa, that's a big one.
Nature of knowledge.
And
that gets you thinking, doesn't it?
And how we learn, and how you've got, he saw epistemology. Would you believe the name learning in the academia land is called epistemology? So you've got Western epistemology, and then you have Aboriginal native epistemology, and that we were to show the differences between the two. So there was this extensive discourse that I took with him for at least a week, and our team. So we listened very carefully, and there was a discernment with the Western way was through an authority that was a person and a way of the system. He said was very powerful, and that's how we learn. A judge, a teacher, and then there was a discernment with the Aboriginal way was that nature was the teacher, and there was a spirit of the nature which was the teacher. And that was that information. It wasn't owned by a person. It was there for everyone as a connect to where you're able to. And if you can, heighten your capacity to attend to that and connect to that. And that would be a serving your life for learning. Powerful stuff, right? Eh? You know?
Yeah, right. Let's just take a second here to real quickly. A bunch of folks came rolling in after your video and after you started talking, Mark. Welcome. Max Vision Remote Viewing, good to see you. Mary Wins, good to see you, sister. David Castle, love you, brother. Thank you for coming. And for anybody else I may have missed, I know you all came trickling.
Claudette is with us as well.
Claudette, yeah, I see Claudette. There she is. Hi, Claudette. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dalibor. You were going to say something?
Yeah, well, from my perspective as somebody who studied this sort of thing, I'm seeing is that your type of marketing tends to emphasize the positive emotions and positive reinforcement, and that's pretty much something that could only come out of a place like Australia, because from my various dealings with various people, it seems to me that the southern half of the globe, in other words, Australians and Africans, tend to be the least pessimistic and the least cynical of all cultures that I've ever met. Hands down. So, you know, that's why this type of marketing is more successful if not only coming from that context, but also applied to that context.
Agreed.
Yeah. A bit like the Rainbow Tribe that we all are, right? It's time for that, and why not? More power to it, you know? So,
I noticed you worked the rainbow into quite a bit of your art.
Look, there's a legend that
there's subliminal messaging there, Mark.
Well, a lot of people, you can take a lot from it, whichever, it's up to you. But the Rainbow Serpent was really strong with the messages that I sat with a lot of people and still do connect about that, being able to connect with everybody in the world. The Rainbow Serpent had this role around the world to the different nations where it made connection because it was identifiable by everybody. You could either feel it or see it or sense it. So it kind of had a appeal that way.
I picked up on it through all the different pieces you all were doing as I was scrolling through, and I'm like, they're just subtly laying that out there in the background to reinforce everything else.
True. You know the prophecies. You're all probably aware of the prophecies, and you know it's a great awakening. It's a great reset time, and you know it was said a long time ago. It wasn't exactly sure how it would look like. There was no predetermined had to be like so much this, that, and the other in some box. It was kind of like, whoa, look out, go to the golden age, have rainbow people try to pull together and just sample what feels right to you, connect to earth and live it well and share it, that kind of thing. Just very broad, but that's sort of what we're doing.
There's people in the enlightened spiritual community, whatever their belief system is, that as guides or as light workers, we see ourselves as carrying messages or sharing what we know, right, Trina? Whatever knowledge we receive on our downloads. And then there's people like you who are doing that, but in a more subtle way. And it's kind of interesting because you're opening doorways in people's minds and hearts that may not otherwise be opened.
Yeah.
Because they're seeing, oh, this is dogma, or this is a document, and I have to read and study that. I mean, you're doing it in such a way that you're shaking that little tree inside their minds and opening all those little possible doorways for spirit to come in.
True.
Yeah, what else I see too is using cartoons is such a brilliant way because it captures every audience, children to the elderly. It is such a fascinating tool that's been lost and forgotten. And I am so grateful for you all for doing that work because it's an amazing piece that we're losing. And thank you for recapturing that because it's
thanks,
powerful.
Trina, thank you for acknowledging that because I see it as the central kind of the framework of understandings from a child-like position. Which is
you will gain heaven if you can come to me with the eyes of a child. That's the key.
Yeah,
that's it.
Key.
Wow,
it's a good one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Trina.
It's true. It's true. My whole life, it's like simplicity. Keep it simple, stupid. And then when I started to understand, now it's keep it simple, student, because I'm finally getting it. Yeah, it's like simplicity is the true teachings of the masters. And that is a beautiful simplicity that captures the minds of multitudes. It's powerful.
It's amazing. It's amazing how many. Hello, that lady coming. Julianne. Hey, my next door neighbour. Oh, look, here's Millie.
I love it.
Come in. This is our oyster, little oyster.
I love that. How cute is that?
I love it.
Who's
She's
that
under
one?
the table. Millie,
That's Pearl.
settle down.
My partner Millie. She's a professional. She's a master cartoonist, so we kind of play.
Oh, nice.
I love it.
We're just on that theme about playing. Literally, I'm playing golf, right? I play with serious money people. Like, I don't know, they own this old, Queensland zone. They simply do. They physically have the serious money, and I'm playing with them. And they're doing things like spitting the dummy like a bubba, And I'm going, oh,
I love that.
Whatever.
That's great.
Good, and they kind of realise that, well, perhaps I've gone in retrograded down to my lowest, best display, and then they sort of come back up and realise, oh, I better have to think about what I'm doing a little bit now. It's a bit silly, but I don't say anything. I just accept, and that's that thing we were chatting about with Trina just before. You let it fly and be yourself in a true honest way, like a child, and you can learn through that. And the upshot from it is they kind of look me up like a bit like what you've done, Laurie, and and start talking about things for their business. So kind of how we can get through to our staff. I feel lighter or something they say, and whatever.
What was so precious? I got to meet a child this week, and she had a meltdown at school and was hiding under her desk and screaming bloody murder because she felt so frustrated and scared and things were out of control, and she just kind of snapped. And I said, well, how do you think that you could possibly work out some of that frustration and that rage? And I looked on the ground and there was a rubber mallet, like a rubber hammock.
Yeah.
A hammer. And I was like, I was like, what about smashing rocks? She's like, can I? I was like, well, I don't see why not. And she started smashing those rocks and she started laughing and giggling and she felt so much better. I'm like, see, you knew how to solve your own problem. All we had to do was look around us and see what was available and how we could productively use that force and that anger and that rage and that frustration into a positive channel. And now you've just made a new family from that one rock, and the rock didn't get hurt, and everybody's happy and you feel better. Children are brilliant and they know how to solve problems with the most simplistic, raw consciousness.
I'd like just to add to the teenagers. No, absolutely right with you. I just get excited. You know, I'm going to relate that to you. With I did this retreat with the teenagers. Now, 35 teenagers. Now, teenagers aren't always easy to deal with, right? They can, you know, I won't tell you what they do, but they'll swear and they'll try it on and everything, right? Man, they'll give everything to you. And just if you react to it and call it bad or anything, then you know that you're gone. They're lost. You know, you won't have anything to do with you, right? So I just said whatever, and I won't tell you what they did, but it wasn't pretty or nice, but they tried it. So I just whatever, and they kind of we can't upset him like we can do all the rest of the teachers. And I just ran with it, and all they wanted to do, this is really really weird, but all they wanted to do was use my machete to cut thing, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator, whatever. They just wanted to use. That was the biggest thing, to use the machete.
Yeah.
And they took it in turns, and I said, you need the right kind of wood to cut because, you know, so they just went hunting for it. I said, oh yeah, got that. And they pulled these saplings, and they're green saplings. It take about 100 blows to get through these hardwood green saplings. They're really kind of quite strong, some of them, and they just bashed it, and they just felt relief, and it was just like this rite of passage to use the machete.
They have so much energy. They have so much pent-up energy and emotions, confusion, anger, distrust, you know, and so their communication is severed, and it's electronic based, even with themselves. But when they can put those emotions and actions into hands-on activities of any kind, like you two were just describing, it's not only an outlet for that frustration and that energy, but it's an opportunity for them to open up too, to really hear what they need to hear and reject otherwise, you know?
Absolutely. And they just like to do then some drawing, and they filled in and they completely colored our murals and zeroed in on things that have got, there is no planet B, there's no plan B, because a lot of their stuff is, they're aware, they're very with it, the young kids as well as the older kids, super aware. Don't ever underestimate them. I never do. And they're just saying, what are you doing, grown-ups? You know?
Right?
Can you tell us just a little bit more about that body art that you were doing on Jules and her daughter and other folks at that festival? What exactly were we? I mean, it was beautiful, but what were you doing with that?
So my passion has been to go into kind of entertaining, but bringing messages through. So I had face paint. There's a lot of face paint. It's great to do face painting, but I started to research what painting on bodies was about since time began. That was a ceremony, sacred ceremony by the shaman or Shah women to collect the paste from nature. So I filled my paints that I had that were really bright with crystals, aromatherapy, and shell essences. So kind of and with the intention, put them out in the moon. And there was a genuine. I made sure I was prepared, and this is part of the shaman's kind of whatever you call it, rite of passage, because you ask the plant or the crystal, which you come in with me for this one, or or not, and there was I get no, yes, no, so I started to get feedback, right? So that's like the Wolf Clan and what we were saying before about listening and. Anyway, come on to that. And through my years, I've been a bit of a study-orator, which means I've looked at,
You're sure, Mark, you have been a study-orator.
That's it. Of all these symbols and these religions and thinking which is what and where, and some of the things that linked. My sister lives in Egypt, so I went to the Queen's Chamber in the pyramid, and I got these shapes coming from what have turned out to be the Keys of Enoch book. And so all that sort of history, I got a lot of that story about symbols. So and the lineage that I listened to, because I do a lot of listening. I'm not just talking, just listen, sit down and listen. And from that, I kind of must have picked up a kind of linkage that I go sit in front of someone, and this isn't a joke. I would have probably painted 10,000 people. That's not exaggeration. So it's been my way of doing,
wow,
my giving. And I was very grateful for it. You know, I haven't done it for a bit, but look, paint 500 people at a mind, body and health thing at, I said, "Oh, give me money if you want," or some give me 100, some give me nothing. I don't even care. Just we're painting.
Right.
Like it's a ceremony, it's a gathering, and that's how it was done. So the symbols come through and they link with the, the third eye, sometimes the brown chakra, and the throat chakra and heart chakra, and leg to grounding.
That's
and
just a whole new spin on dotty painting to me. I had no idea of what the origins was. Wow.
Yeah, it reminds me what he was doing of the ancients painting the children when they go to the rites of passage, or when they're going to go on the walks and take the vision quests and do that stuff. And
the Aborigines,
that's a beautiful energy. I could see it when he was painting Julie's daughter, and when she got done, I was like, whoa, I could see the energy coming out of her body from that. I was like, wow.
And it's interesting when I get in front and do this, it was important for her, to Crystal, I suppose in some way, to be acknowledged. She's a kind of a support teacher, and she's lovely with Bryce, the son, amazing being, Julia, his grandson.
Bryce.
But she's really aware and possibly bursting with, spirit of intent and passion for life. And I kind of wanted to acknowledge that, so then it just opened up and say, hey, this is way more. And all the messages from me with the painting were to kind of facilitate an opening and saying it's like a lotus, here I am kind of thing,
right.
That way, but with a bit more dynamicism. She's pretty dynamic. She sits on Bryson's back and says, you'll get up. You won't be a disability boy thingy, whatever that is thing. Get up, go. And to get him to do it. And he does it because she's just so with passion,
Yeah. These programs, the nature programs, the, ecology and environment, how does this work for you guys? What's going on with the government?
They're a bit slow on paying money or anything to us. So we managed to get an international sponsor for one project that we're doing. This one, if you can see that one, there we go. The Happy Oyster Family Fish Resort.
Yeah.
And there's inside cover. Millie's Little Puppets. Yeah. Anyway, so suffice to say, as a large consortium who have decided, I think we ought to contact with the younger junior school people rather than academia university people. Oh, we need somebody who can do that. Happy days, because I've done 2,000 schools, been doing this for 30 years, so it came to my door. And so we've just completed a giant mural like this one in the back and a workbook and for them. But our time will be up, so we're soon, and we'll be doing the school presentations, and that'll be done. But we've got other ones in the wind. But if someone's interested, come on. River and water was some of my passions. I was just cutting back to that. It's really important for my Aboriginal friend. I'll just say that we were mentioning earlier, Eugene. He's just discoursed to 100 professors down in the Australian National University. Is that all right still?
Yes.
Still good? About the importance of water. That's like, right, he was asked and came and told them. And it's about like the water table and the caring and riparian repair of the creeks and communities to be engaged with doing that. So this is our project now, and it's been my passion to see that sort of thing built up. So we're looking for support people who'd like to get that going
Future.
more.
I'm seeing the future here, Trina. The future of
Remember,
society.
since I was a little girl, I would ask the Lord, I says, how do we fix the world? Because I'd get so upset with the condition. And he said, don't talk to me. You will fix the world when you fix the water, meaning that we had the magic to fix the water. And if we all come together and said, mountain move, it would move. So if we said, we love you to the water, all of us all together, that water would know it was loved and it would heal. So
very true.
It's coming down to the water, guys. You guys are right on spot, on track. Right on.
And there's other things unfolding now at the moment too, which I've just been on. Why I'm running late is because of our assemblies that are getting together for the restoration plan of the earth.
Yay!
Right on, Jules. Right on.
You know, you're almost you're taking people's minds that are in all these different energies that are going on, and you're having them focus on what really matters, which are things that are going to change things moving forward. So you're actually taking them on the path away from just constant bombardment about what that shall not be named and everything else associated with it. Because people are putting too much mind into that. But by doing this, you're opening them and opening that pathway for them to be thinking about things differently. And then you're starting it with the children too. So it's children is the future.
You know that water thing's everywhere. You can't. We say to open the show with no water, no us, right? You know, they get it. Yeah. They go, You know, like it's like, you want to go bottom line. You know, they don't talk about the budget at the corporate desk. They talk about water,
it's so amazing when you talk about healing the planet and you talk about water, it bypasses all religion, race, color, creed, economic status. That's something that everybody can relate to, and everybody knows that without it we cease to exist. So I think it's a brilliant plan. You guys that's amazing.
Connect that to the tree people, and the air, water and air. Two big ones. None of them, none of us, right?
Right on.
Yeah.
See, they like planting trees. These oysters, they go to the mangroves right next to the river, and they love it because the fishies, their friends, go there, and the air gets cleaned by the mangroves, and they clean the water. They clean the water, and the mangroves and them friendly, happy days clean the water.
Yeah.
I love it.
Fantastic.
I love it.
Hi, Crystal. Crystal joined us.
Crystal. Yeah.
Hi, Crystal.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. We're just talking about you.
We were.
About your body paint.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yay. And just fascinating, the oysters themselves, and they have a spirit. And this is what I find that is really interesting. The children who are kind of like supposed to be the ones listening to the teacher, they're actually, I'm getting messages about what the water's telling me to the teacher. And some of the teachers, some of the teachers are listening. Woohoo! Yay!
Yes.
Encouraging those messages from the children to be highlighted and like expressed and become normally like part of the gig, you know?
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's
very, very. And we do the homeschooling. We're keen on to do that around the world, more of the homeschooling kids and the mums who are kind of seeing that they get. Look, you my mother even tells me I was saying different things when I was a kid. I'm in her house. She's 90, so I know parents. I ask them and grill them all the time. Right. What's their dreams like? Do you ask them how their dreams are? And they say, yeah, some of these ones are great. And Crystal would have Bryson and they, if they're like that, like it's just the sky's the limit, right? That's opening up and allowing those things to be discussed openly and shared and kind of active. If it feels right, you can do things about it. So we've got one young guy who wants to save the black cockatoo here because the trees that were his home were knocked down and were falling off the bank of the river because there was a development about a few hundred meters up that knocked all the trees out to put its building there. And then when the first flood came, it knocked all the trees of the cockatoo out. So there was a combination of his get this cockatoo dreaming, which he said he had, and how this all happened. And he made a diagram to suggest that to his mother.
That's
Wow.
cool.
And now
Awesome.
so those sort of simple pickups, and the mother's walking with the boys, you know. So we want to promote more of those knowings and wherever we can with our cartooning or workbook. And like Dave, we kind of like cartoon, and I'll show you this workbook here. It's kind of good because there's a cartoon from the mural, so you could use. There's a mural behind us, and you pick the cartoon, ask a question. So you know, where does the Noosa River start was one of these questions. And I just say about that because we actually went to the source, the start of the river, which is pretty
beautiful.
Cool, you know. And it's a little trickle, right? Little trickle of fresh, clean water. And they just like the kids were like, "Wow, you can drink that." Right? I said, you know,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's
right?
That's amazing. Yeah.
Fresh water, drink it out of the ground.
Right.
Wow, that was like far out. That was on the far side of reality for them. Where do you get your water? You get it in bottles at Woolworths. No.
Right? Where do you think they get it?
Right. You should see too when you show them how a chicken is processed, and you know, eggs, have them go and harvest the eggs from the chicken's bottoms, you know, like scoot over, let me get the, you know, that changes their perspective on food. It really does, because they think that the chicken comes from the grocery store. It's like, no, that's not where it comes from. So yeah, these hands-on, seeing it yourself things are so profound for children. I mean, I think this is such a big key to educating them properly, is getting them back into nature.
And it's just so
you guys
simple.
are doing a great job. Yeah,
you know,
that's great.
It's simple. It's not all that. I mean, it's not like rocket science. It's just so simple.
Yeah.
And there's a layered approach to it.
So again, I don't mind cutting back to their fathers or mothers who are kind of doing their business, run around getting their mortgage paid, you know. And but they're doing it because they want their kids to be kind of like awesome, right? They want them to be provided with everything, you know. So I kind of fully acknowledge them, even the corporate heads, and they starting to kind of basically take messages from cartooning and kids' thinkings into their workplace. So I've got one guy, he's got a business called Complete Removals. He's the gun in South Australia removalist company. So he's taken some ideas from basically his kids and our cartoonings into all what he does and just going gangbusters. So I just, it spreads through all of the place, you know.
Well, hopefully you have inspired some of our viewers, because we do have a lot of artistic people in our spiritual community. They watch different YouTube channels. They tune in and they tune out. So folks, if you know other fellow artists that might be interested in watching this, please share it with them. And Mark, what I'd like to do is your Conscious Cartooning Facebook page. I'd like to be able to try to find a way to share it through there. This message tonight, because it's very powerful. And if we can get you on again in the future, or even if others want to invite you on, get that messaging out there, because it's something that I wish I could see a lot of the American artists doing. And they're so right now we're so into, we got to make our money, we got to make our our ends meet, and there's just not a whole lot of
the agendas that got sent home with all the schools years ago with all the kids. I actually was the creator of that. And I started that, in 1992 in Scottsdale, Arizona, because I was running I worked in a group home, and I had 12 children.
That was you?
Yeah, that was me. And I had 56 teachers I was trying to communicate with a day. It was impossible. So I created the agenda system. And what you're doing is something similar with the cartoons. It's a basic foundational education system. This could be in every language, worldwide, global.
It's very interesting. We did
Global.
a program for World Vision, a group that was bringing information to the Indonesian and Ethiopian trainers of the farmers who had been farmers and who needed a resource material to kind of go to the farmers to think of doing things a little bit different, but not get them too serious, enjoy the process and make it easy for them. So we made a simple little sequence. It was about rotating your crops instead of just overburdening the land with the hard-hoofed animals. You put them into the pen and plant and help the worms. So speaking of worms, that's our bookworm marker. We got a bookworm under the soil is very important. Theme we do, but that went, and that's one of the prizes. But that we give out to people. I think, but that was stemmed from a photo that we did for those cultural people. They got it. The worms were in the earth. The worms aren't in the earth where it was compacted. It was very profound for them. We did it in their language, in their cultures.
And they got it. Yes.
And they just thought, the worms we haven't seen a worm for 20 years. Why is that? Right?
Right.
So,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. These cartoons and diagrams of simplicity, simple actions to take, simple things to get on board with. Simple. I mean, I think this is how we really will heal the planet, is by these simple tools that create such profound change.
And the grandmothers, I might add, the inclusion of the senior people is one of our real passions, because they are often kind of put on the scrap heap a bit, but they've got tons of knowledge from the old days, and some of it's very, very useful. And we want to feel them included. So that's part of what we love to do in the wherever school community, homeschooling community, mums, dads, grandpas and grandmas come along and somehow get around if we're going to post a message, which we're going to kind of post a message with a bit of a show, fun show lesson, something, they can get it. They'll sit there and giggle like kids. And
if Julie's daughter, Crystal, and I can get a hold of this other educator to see what her paradigm program is, we have sent her a letter. Yeah, if we can get a hold of her.
There you go.
Crystal, I was saying, if you and I can keep working on getting that educator.
Yes, definitely.
If we can still keep doing that and eventually get her on and hook her up with Marc, hook her up with you. Wow. What a connection that would be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It might help promote. It might just take off. You never know. But I'm seeing this connection, and I'm like, yeah. So I'll get with you, Crystal, because I did send her one letter, but we need to do a follow-up, and I thought I could get you to work with me on it. I know you've been going through some things at your own school with Bryce and everything this week, but
yeah.
And you doing okay with that? Everything all right?
I've got a plan. So I've got a plan. The plan will work.
Yes, it will.
Yes, it will.
Yes, it will.
Well,
so yeah.
So we'll get back on that, Marc, because we can hook you up with her, and I'm telling you what she's doing.
Absolutely. Well, and Tricia, like all you guys, we can kind of like co-collaborate, what we call that, and create something that's a good brainstorm meeting, and then turn it into a thing that would help the waters of the world. I mean, what the?
Yes.
It's put all that in a think pot, and
they say that they were able to clean the most toxic water in the world at the Japan Dam, and all they had was 30 monks for 30 days pray thank you over the water, and in 30 days it was drinkable. So if that's what 30 monks can do, could you imagine what this group could do?
Yes,
we could do amazing things.
Yep.
No doubt. I'm for it. So let's do
it. I think it would also be great if you could have a web page that's not on Facebook, because not everybody's on Facebook. I'm not into Facebook.
A web page. Yeah, simple.
Mm-hmm.
A real web page.
That
way you would have a global audience instead of just the Facebook people.
Good one. Thank you. Thanks.
Well, what we're going to do is Karen Karspelov will be back soon from her mining
Excellent.
operations up in Canada. And she'll be coming back in soon, and we'll be doing another big update to our Queen of Quartz Crystal Network website. And we will feature you on there and your Facebook page as well, Mark.
Thank you.
And so that, and we'll help to try to promote you that way. We'll
you.
include you in there, on that one. But you really should get your own web page separate from that you can maintain on a regular basis.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all grand. Tech people, as a matter of interest, we're actually putting a little video together in the next few days about how to do cartooning, how to do use this resource. So that's kind of a good one. So anybody could do it. Like, it's not like saying not rocket science. So really simple, and so everybody could be an educator, whatever.
That's great.
So
well, before we say goodbye and everything, because it is 10:20, Lori has an engagement.
Yeah.
We do have something going on here with some friends that want to say hi in their own uplifting way. And so all I can say is, Lori, what's up?
What's up?
What's up? What's up, Trina? What's up?
What's up?
What's up? Dallimore.
What's up?
So yeah, what's transpiring?
What's transpiring? What's transpiring?
That's how you say it in my country. That is
That's
how you say it.
Are they here, Lori? Well,
yeah.
Here we go.
They have a break, or is that finished?
What's up? Quick, Dave. What's up? What's up?
No.
What's up?
So me and the chicks here have one question for the tribe.
What's up? What's up?
What's up?
What's up? What's up? What's
In my country, we just say "sosaye," which in Czech, translated directly into English, literally means "what is transpiring." So that would be my thing. What's transpiring?
What is transpiring? Transpiring. What is transpiring? Ding.
Oh, I love that.
What? Transpiring.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
I love it.
What's up?
Ryan. Right on.
That was fun.
That was awesome.
I miss Brian with his
Loved
singing
it.
bowls.
I know, right?
Me too.
That's too funny.
Me too.
Transpiring, perspiring. That's right, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Well, actually, it might interest a lot of people to know that in my country, the way you say hello is ahoy. But
Yeah,
it's
like
also the same way.
Ahoy.
Yeah, the same way you say goodbye is also ahoy. So
Ahoy.
but
Wow.
Ships
that's like
ahoy.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
if you were in Australia, you would say, "Ahoy, mate."
Ahoy, mate.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
Ahoy,
actually,
mate.
most people
No.
don't. Most
Ahoy,
people
mate.
don't know this. Most people don't know this. But
Julianne's like,
No.
What's up?
Excuse me.
that's
I don't think so.
that's actually an acronym. Ahoy is actually an acronym that goes back
Mhm.
to the early Christian times, and that's with the
She's tickled,
Y. The Y is actually J, which is for Jesus. Stands for Jesus. So it's like something like praise be Jesus. It's an
oh,
acronym,
wow.
really. Yeah,
Wow.
Huh.
seriously. So,
Wow, that's cool.
Seriously. Wow.
Mhm.
I
Good night,
love it.
Max Vision. We're sorry. We'll see you in a bit, okay? He's going to have a
Yes.
remote viewing class tonight, so
Awesome.
yeah.
I go top of the day to you.
I
Good
like
day.
that. I like that. Top of the
Instead
day.
of-
How's it going, right?
Well, my mother always said top of the morning to you.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't want to use morning because I'm not morning over
morning.
anything.
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah, there's that
Yeah,
Right.
top of the
yeah.
day.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so top of the day because
Mhm.
you're at the beginning of it, aren't you?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Yep.
true.
Well, thank
You
you
know.
so much, Mark, for joining us. And you've got your microphone muted, Mark, I think. I see a little diagram there.
Got it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous. Lovely to meet you all.
Yes.
More power to us. Let's
Yeah.
keep it going. Like let's
Yes, we'll have you back
Absolutely.
on, definitely, when you're ready.
Can I
Absolutely.
say?
Thank you so
can
much.
I say something?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
absolutely.
Always.
No. Well, it's because we've got Mark on and Millie. Get Millie to come up. Mark, can she get?
She's
up?
going to crawl out of the puppet hole.
Yeah.
There she
Millie.
is. That's not
Hi, Millie.
that's not a puppet. That's human.
No.
That's a human.
Hi, Millie.
Yeah.
Hi, Millie.
A few weeks ago, Mark and Millie invited me out to Millie's place, and this is where I got the resin for the bottom of my. Oh, here we go. My balm.
Beautiful balm. Lovely balm.
Yeah, tell them how it works,
Wow.
guys. Tell them how it works.
Very calm, very gorgeous centering for me. Anyway, but that resin comes from a sacred tree in Australia. It's called like a common name, black boy, but it's a grass tree. It's a huge thing. When it gets on, it gets up to like big plumes of strong grass pieces and a stalk. And at the stem down into the ground is this resin that the Aboriginal people used to use in lots of different ways. They used to consume it. They used to use it to set their axes. They used to use it as a ceremony, all sorts of binding. And so that went to because Millie has on her property one of the places that has kept these old trees. They're 400 and 500 years old, these trees. So they're seriously beautiful. It's a bit of a sacred ground. That Aboriginal beings recognise, and to have that resin, that's all the other properties around it have cleared that long ago and forgot about the value of this, but not Millie, and there's a kind of little potion of it. So
Wow.
Nice. Great.
Yeah.
And all it's called. The name is Kinglia, Kingia, Agenta. So it means silver. It's the goddess. It's silver, and it actually holds some powerful energy within that resin.
Yeah,
So
that's sacred business. Maybe one day you get the chance to do a live cross at these big. If you like, I'm just raving quickly. Look at this, because it is an exceptional piece of property.
Yes,
It's got a sacred circle at it, and it's maybe come over.
Yeah, and they're coming to my place, and so they can come to your place.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Yeah,
because Millie's got serpentine, masses and masses of serpentine on her land.
whole
and I've
mountain.
got a whole mountain
Wow.
of serpentine where I've got jasper, and she's only really just over the hill. If we could just go over the hill, we would be there, but you got to go round the hill.
But
yeah.
transport.
That's it. Yeah, we're there. But I've also got something else to share because the water is so important because of these times when we're actually being a little bit bombarded by the energy. I have another little mix I've made. You can't really see it. It's got rose or there it is. Oh no, go that way.
Oh.
There you go.
Good
So
on you.
So it's magnesium sulfate for soaking in, like your Epsom salts. It's got a bit of Himalayan rock salt and rose petal in it. So you can have a little soak in that and then rub the oil into you guys and you'll clear all those parasites.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
Wow.
Love that.
Yeah.
Just the intention.
You know what I just heard? Julianne, it's that resin that you have as the power of the moonshine, the moonlight in it somehow. Beautiful, powerful, silver
And the
moonshine.
It is called agenta. Agenta is the name in it. And the agenta, that's the actual word for silver. Silver is AUGENTIUM. And silver.
Wow.
Silver beam, silver lining, silver everything.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into gold today, girls.
Well,
we were talking about the moonshine on Waze today, Trina.
Right, that's where I heard it. Yeah,
we were talking about the
and that's what I heard. And I heard that it was the moonshine. It's not the alcohol. It's the power of the moon captured in that resin, and it's the moonshine, like the light. Oh, it's beautiful what I was seeing. Powerful. I was like, wow, that must be. I want some resin, Julianne.
It's all about the intelligence of the plant.
Should we send them? Can we send a little bit over?
I don't know.
Oh, I wish. It probably costs $1,000.
Bookmarks, Mark. Show us your bookmarks. You have some bookmarks.
By intentions. We send it by intentions.
We'll send a package full of 20 or 30 of these. They're little bookmarks.
Look, there's
That's
tree.
awesome.
I
love that.
Yeah, come
We'll
on.
cover them with intentions.
Worms there.
Cute. So cute.
Yeah, Jules, I wonder about that.
Love it.
Me.
Thank you, Mark. That's cool. Yeah.
We're making a tree puppets set soon for our next show too.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Oh, we're
I
definitely
love
having you
that
back on.
That'd be awesome.
Fun with you.
Oh, can I just mention about trees? A very important friend of mine who has a tree meditation recently with a lot of people who just turned up out of the blue at her property, which is a kind of a little bit back of here, maybe 40, 50 kilometers. And it was a meditation about all the big trees wanting to link with the smaller trees and make those root connections and get the humans, perhaps like a bit like Awa in the movie, when Avatar.
That's it, Avatar. Yep, I know what you're talking about.
And the sense of it was this was just a really powerful meditation that we will all be in some way putting the trees back and recreating, the whole Gondwana.
Yes,
awesome. That's beautiful.
We are.
That is what we're doing. Yeah.
Yes, we are.
I tell you, it's powerful energy around. We're doing it.
Yay. More power.
It's interesting that in my language, the word for tree is Strom. But in German, the word Strom means energy, as in current.
Which
is an interesting correlation.
Because they're the antenna. They're the antenna. They process the current.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of meaning to these word games,
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Really?
Really? Yeah.
So you can tell from a cartoonist point of view the poetic license that we have, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
We got poetic license here. There's no restriction there, but you want it to kind of flow or sort of get somehow, some.
It's like poetry.
Poetry, yeah. So
Poetry.
where we all put it into the pot, we all put into the pot. And other nations, other nationality, it's a very good, and a world identifiable kind of fun learning thing.
Yep.
It's very possible.
Anything is.
Well, on that positive note, we will say good night, everyone. We really appreciate your coming. It's so good to see you all, and we're definitely having you back on, Mark. And,
thank you.
Thank you, chat room members, for hanging in there and your wonderful comments. We love you too.
Much love.
And normally we would stay on for a couple of minutes afterwards, but Lori's really got to get to going. She's a little late getting out of here. She's got to go.
Thanks,
So,
Laura.
we love you all.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Love you all.
Thank you.
Bye.